I'm talking about the state of the WWE in this video. And to be quite honest, I've been wanting to make more content on topics like this where, I go in depth and just kind of talk about how I really feel about WWE and share my opinion. I've already made videos before about different wrestlers. I haven't really been trying to push the channel because I don't know, I just kind of didn't really want to be on that YouTube grind, but at the same time, here I am, and I'm gonna be making more content. So if you're interested, tune into the channel. But anyways, um, so let's talk about WWE. Let's talk about WWE for a second, for a few minutes. Um, so SmackDown had its lowest rating. First of all, I've been watching WWE and WCW since the late 90s. All right, it started with me flipping the channel back and forth from WCW to WWE, watching the Monday Night Wars, and just couldn't decide between who I liked more with Bill Goldberg and The Rock and Steve Austin and, the NWO and all that. We all went through that if you were tuning in to the Monday Night Wars. I mean, it was just something to see back then. It was all kind of stuff going on. And so I pretty much been watching ever since then. Since the Monday Night Wars, through the Ruthless Aggression era, through the PG era, through the reality era, through the Nexus era, even though that really wasn't an era, but you get what I'm saying, like all the way up until now, through, the Shield era and, the days of Ryback and all that up until now. So, I'm pretty knowledgeable on WWE. And not to toot my own horn, I'm just throwing it out there. So basically, like, I don't know, I really haven't been trying to get caught up in um, sharing my opinion too much lately on the product. I've just been more focused on the wrestlers, but I'm gonna give my honest opinion. So now not everything on WWE is bad, but obviously not everything is good either. As a fan that's been watching for the past 2.5 decades, I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of ups and downs. I've seen a lot of highs and lows. I've seen the product when it was really good. I've seen the product when it's been really shitty. But, as a hardcore fan, somebody who's been watching since, their childhood, somebody who has really just had an ingrained tie with WWE's product, ever since my childhood, like I said, and my teen years. Um, you just even during the shitty times, you don't stop watching. At least, those of you that understand where I'm coming from as hardcore fans as well that have continued to watch since the late 90s and even whoever's been watching even before then since the early 90s or late 80s. There's people that have been watching longer than me. So, but you know who you are. And so we don't stop watching just because the product gets shitty. I mean, sometimes you feel like that. Like there have been times where I've said to myself, I don't really want to watch this shit no more. Um, I don't know if I can continue to watch this. The product is kind of trash right now. They're not pushing who I want. I mean, we all go through that. We all get mad at the things that we don't get with that, that we don't see on, the WWE shows and stuff. Who's not being pushed. We have our opinion on who should be pushed and all this and that's okay to have that. But yeah, like as a hardcore fan, you just don't stop watching. So I know that there's been some people that have stopped watching, but I haven't. I don't know if I ever will. Maybe that day will come where I'll take a break. Um, I really can't really recall a time when I stopped watching, except for when I just didn't have cable back in like 2003. There was a period of like 6 months or 4 months or whatever it was where I just didn't have cable and I couldn't watch, but I still went on WWE.com and kept up with what was going on and watched video clips and all that until I had cable again. But so yeah, the product hasn't been its best this year. It's been far from its best. I mean, a lot of people online make comparisons to what was going on in the early part of 2024. with that great storyline between Cody, The Rock, Roman Reigns, and everything that went down, which led to a phenomenal showdown in the main event of WrestleMania in 2024 with Cody winning the title and all that. And that's just one example. Okay, like obviously Roman turning heel in 2020 was great. Um, there's been a lot of other things that have happened that have been good. Like Braun Breaker coming to the main roster. I mean, I feel like he should have been on the main roster. Um, Rhea Ripley evolving her character, although like nowadays she's kind of stagnant and I don't know what the hell they're doing with her. I don't have a problem with her per se. My only issue that I ever had with Rhea Ripley was that she was being booked like a man, okay? And I'm gonna double down on that shit because I believe in that. Like I believe that they were booking her like a man. Like she was beating up JD McDonough and Dominic, and she probably would have did the same to Finn. For some reason they didn't have her do it to Finn, but I mean she was out there fucking, beating up guys, okay? I think Tozawa, she beat up Tozawa too, like, and I get it, like these guys aren't the biggest guys and all that, but they're still men, okay? Like even the weakest guy, amongst the alpha males could still fucking handle a female, like to a degree. Like there's some strong females out there. Like I think Nia Jax probably would dominate, JD McDonough and all that. She's big. She's not necessarily muscular. She's not fat either, but she's a big woman, a big, tall, 6 foot tall woman. Okay, like that's not what Rhea Ripley is. A lot of people like think Rhea Ripley is taller than what she is and bigger and all that. She's only 5'8" and a half. All right, that's her legitimate height. Go look it up. And you know, when she doesn't have those what do they call it? The wrestling boots on that make you look taller. She's literally only like an inch and a half taller than Bianca Belair. And I'm not saying Bianca's small. Bianca like towers over Kairi Sane and Asuka and Io Sky and all that. Like they had the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky. They're little women, okay? But I'm just saying like Rhea Ripley is not a 6 foot tall woman. But anyways, yeah, they got her out here dominating the guys and booking her like a man to beat up men. So, but yeah, like I don't know. SmackDown drew its lowest rating here recently, and all year round so far, this year at least, this whole year so far, the product has been bad. I mean, it seemed promising when Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. It really did. Like, because he was over, and then he eliminated John Cena at the very end, and then it was a shocking moment, and then he yeeted with the crowd and all that. And even though like we knew he was probably going to go up against Gunther again. Like it still was nice to see him in the world title scene, you know. But uh, yeah, at the same time, it led to nowhere, and um, it just didn't hit like we thought it was going to hit. Same with John Cena's heel turn. Same with Aleister Black coming to the main roster. It's been several things, Yeah, Travis Scott showing up at WrestleMania and then just completely disowning WWE. Like, I don't know how they made that mistake to work with that guy, not knowing that, he might do that or that he wasn't as committed as they thought he was or whatever the hell the issue was with that. I don't know, man. That was its own thing. And then WWE not pushing LA Knight and giving him a world title. Like I get it, the guy's getting older, but he's still like 5 or 6 years younger than CM Punk. Okay, so CM Punk is closer to 50. LA Knight is actually closer to his late 30s than CM Punk is. So, I mean, LA Knight has 5 years, 6 years or so, in the gas tank that CM Punk doesn't have. So I don't know. That's just me. Whatever. And he's like fucking in great shape. I mean, the guy obviously works out. He looks like a bodybuilder. He's like 6'1", a bodybuilder. I mean, like LA Knight is decent in the ring, a little more than decent. I think he's a good wrestler, and he's good on the mic. He's over with the crowd. So I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, I don't agree with everything that's been going on. Um, like what the hell are they doing with the Street Profits? I mean, they finally won the tag team titles again. They had a pretty good reign. and then all of a sudden, after what? How long did they have the titles for? Like 2 months. Then they just start getting dominated by the Wyatt Six. I don't understand that. And I get it, like the Wyatt Six kind of does. I don't really say deserved the title. I don't really want to say that, but I mean, with Bo following in his deceased brother's footsteps and carrying his legacy, and the fact that the Wyatt family was a family before Bray died, and now Bo's here and he's taking the torch from Bray. Um, it's kind of nice to see them win the titles, but to bury the Street Profits, I mean, how many times has the Wyatt Six beat the Street Profits for the tag titles? It's been like 3 or 4 times already. First they beat them for the titles, and then they retained them against the Street Profits like 4 times. Again, 3 or 4 times. I don't know. It's been a few times. So, but is the product perfect? Hell no, it's not perfect. There's a lot to dissect and disagree with. And I'm not one of the people that's going to get on here and yell and scream at the top of my lungs and throw a fit or be over dramatic or be over comedic with my approach to this. Is just I'm just going to talk like I'm talking with another fan one on one, and we're just having a casual conversation, sharing our opinions and our interests and our disinterest, and um, and just talking. We can talk about this without getting crazy. And I mean, if some people want to get crazy, that's cool. I mean, that's their thing. But yeah, this is how it's gonna be over here. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna make more content like this. I'm gonna talk more about WWE. So and I'm very knowledgeable about the product. Okay, I've seen a lot over the last 26 years or so, 27 years. I've been watching around there. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Triple H has made some very questionable booking decisions, most definitely. And it's crazy because when Vince stepped down, we thought like everything was going to change. Like I was even watching NXT during the Black and Gold days, okay? And Triple H was running a very awesome product. So when he took over from Vince, I'm thinking this guy's going to make the main roster like the NXT Black and Gold days. I mean, the wrestling was insane on the show back then. The pace that they were at, the moves that they pulled and executed at the fast pace that they did, like that was fucking great. Those were good times. Those were awesome matches. Like you should go back and watch Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black from what was it? Damn, that show in November of 2017. I forgot the name of the show, but they had a killer match. I think it was the same show where Drew McIntyre beat uh, Andrade Cien Almas for the NXT title. That was a good ass show. Like that was. Um, yeah, man. Like it's matches like that. Like the show, the NXT shows and pay per views back then, live events, whatever. Um, you know, they were fucking bangers. So we all thought that Triple H was going to bring a banger of a show to the main roster and turn it into something awesome, and that hasn't happened, and it's been very disappointing. And now you got this other entity that has taken over and merged WWE with UFC, and I don't even know how they're benefiting from that because we all know UFC is the real deal and WWE is the entertainment, and it's like how can you really mix the two? Like how does it even make sense? Why? Because we got somebody like Brock Lesnar who has been in both companies. Um, I don't know, man. I don't get it. But yeah, I'm gonna talk more about this. So stay tuned if you enjoyed this video. To the next one.